All right, guys, welcome back to the Old Glory Red Report. Today we do have that post-match analysis coming from the OKC game at the weekend.
Great game.
Got a Sunday afternoon, a beautiful 4-1 victory.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get into that right after these messages from our sponsors. All right, guys, welcome back to this post-match analysis. As you can see, Jonathan Glass is standing in for Mark Anthony today. Kasey J here. Thanks for joining us for an exciting 4-1 victory over at Papa Murphy's Park for a fabulous game. What'd you think of the game overall, man? I mean, just terrific.
It was good, getting back into our rhythm. We as Republic fans have been begging for a thorough thrashing like that for a long time. And we finally got one on a brand new, beautiful pitch on a beautiful Sunday with a rowdy crowd. Couldn't ask for more.
Absolutely. I think it was definitely needed. The day started out really great. I mean, the tailgate, the weather's held up good for the tailgate. We were out there having a few beers, barbecued up a little bit. I know you were at home on this one.
Yeah.
Probably had a better view than all of us at home on that couch, though. Everything was going great until we started going inside. And then there was a little confrontation with the drummers at the TVB. They weren't allowed in. I'm not 100% sure on the facts, but we'll get back to that to you in the future when we know a little bit more. If you know a little bit more, put down in the comments. I'd like to know what happened. They did get in eventually, and when they got back in, it shifted the tide. I mean, you could definitely feel a difference in the crowd.
Yeah, you could. Just watching from the couch, you could tell a difference in the first few minutes. It was quiet, and I was shocked. I was thinking to myself, what's going on? Where's the TVB? And then they came out in full force, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly what happened, like I said, but it was great to see them get back in. I'm glad that the heads of the TVB and the front office worked it out and got them in, because it really was terrific to have them there and get that noise going again for one of the best first halves of football we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, it was very, very needed. I think it shows how well the team is playing together.
Yeah.
And it gives us a lot of momentum early on, which we really need just to build a good, memorable campaign.
So we had a pretty decent starting 11. It was a 4-2-3-1 formation. Again, I think Elliott likes that, so I think that's the formation he goes with. That's what it looked like to me, at least. Cohen as the keeper, of course.
Obviously.
I mean, the first name on the team sheet. Solid,
Yeah.
Of course, he's going to be there. Gomez, Harris, Kynan, and Mitchell Tainer back in the back. Again, it was good to see Tainer back on there. I think he had a great performance last
He had a really
time.
good game. A key assist.
I think he earned that spot again. He was fantastic again on Sunday. Ray Sari and Drew Skundritz got to start in the middle again. Those guys have been pretty fantastic. Sari definitely stepped up this game. He was one of my players of the match for this one. I think he was fantastic. Warner, Iwasa, and Horde were playing across the middle, and I was kind of surprised to see Horde get in there.
And I talked about it a lot last season, and I'm very happy this season. I think Horde is highly underrated. He's got a killer cross. He's really good on the ball. He can be pretty speedy if he needs to be, and I'm not surprised to see him in the starting lineup. I'm super happy he's in the starting lineup. He's again, to me, a very underrated player, a very good player, and I hope to see him continue to be utilized.
Yeah, I think, him and Tainter did really good on bossing that right side. We saw some good overlaps from him, and we know Horde has a foot that can put the ball into the box. So it's great to see him playing in that position. I think he had a terrific game as well.
Sure did.
But I don't think there's anyone would say didn't have a terrific game on Sunday.
Yeah, definitely.
For the first half, we did come out playing a very high press right off the bat. I think it was a first half where guys came out firing, knew we had to get a victory against a very good team.
Yeah, and I think, we wanted it, and we showed we wanted it, especially in front of the fans. It's, we played well, but it was kind of lackluster, our opening game at Papa Murphy's Park, and that's not what we want from our guys, and not what they want from themselves. They showed their desire to attack, and they showed the quality finishing, which we've been lacking for a long time. So.
Yeah, and I mean, OKC did come out a little bit flat and on the back foot. It seemed like our guys were catching them out quite a bit, so I mean, I think a little bit was maybe OKC came into this game with a little bit of confidence and didn't really get the start that they would have wanted, but terrific on our guys to get out there, and terrific on Iwasa.
It was.
I mean, Jesus, he had a game. If he wasn't already the fan favorite, he's definitely the fan favorite.
Definitely now. And I think, he showed why that, he was up in the MLS a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And he's a player that, Republic, I'm going to say this now, if you do get any more calls from MLS, just hang up the phone. I mean, he's ours.
Yeah.
He belongs to us.
Keep him
He's
here.
where he belongs. So yeah, he played really well. He played with confidence. He
did.
He put, especially his first goal, where he had the little fake shot. He
His
did
left foot.
He did that last year against OC, and it's a thing of beauty. And he left the defenders not knowing how to stop him or second guessing themselves, especially with the confidence he played with.
Yeah, and it was kind of a self-created thing. He got the ball in. He wasn't in necessarily great territory. Took a few touches, got himself into space, and put it on with the left foot. And it was a great one. Got past the keeper. Really got the afternoon started off right.
Exactly right.
He did do it again for us on the penalty that was created by Bonomo. And we talked a little bit about Bonomo beforehand. He might not have had the best game in most people's opinion, but he did help a lot, and he was up there creating. He did create that penalty, a clear-cut penalty.
Yeah, and I was actually impressed with Bonomo the entire game. I think he was unlucky not to get on the score sheet, but I also got a credit with Harris. I feel he created that goal.
The little dink over the top.
The little dink. He had a lot of vision. He ran up he was pretty far back. He ran up the field, beat a couple defenders, put a beautiful little dink right in the right position. I think if Bonomo had a little better touch, I think that would have been a goal.
Yeah,
but I'll take the penalty.
Yeah, and Harris had a few good balls that night. He was playing very well. He's been a terrific player from the start for us too.
Oh yeah.
But credit to Iwasa. After Bonomo gets that clear-cut penalty, he steps up 2 in 2 games. Cool as can be, doesn't even seem like he cares. Puts it past the keeper, easy again.
He was just a little, he was a little snippy with that, showing off a little bit. I was a little nervous going into that with how much time was being wasted. Unfortunately, the OKC player got injured and had to be subbed off. But a lot of times when you stand there and think about it, you kind of muff the shot. But Iwasa just showed who's boss. He sent the keeper the wrong way and just taps it in nice and easy.
Yeah. And then what? Maybe 5-10 minutes later, he goes on beast mode again. That is, I think it's up for goal of the week.
It is.
And so if you have not
Vote
gone
for
over
it.
there and vote, go over there and vote. It's a pass in from Tainter, and credit to him. It is a good cross in from Tainter.
Beautiful.
But first times it beautifully. You can't ask for something
No,
more.
he was in the perfect position, perfect pass by Tainter, perfect shot. I mean, everything went right. And I've already mentioned this like twice. Last season, we had those opportunities, and we just couldn't finish on them. In this game, at least, we finished on almost every single opportunity we had. Or not every single opportunity, but many of the opportunities we've had. And
that's how you end up with 4 goals.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, this one I think is a thing of beauty. Iwasa's flying with confidence, and that's how this goes in.
Exactly.
He was ready to put this one on. Tainter's ball is beautiful. He gets it right on the sweet spot of the foot, and the keeper can't do nothing about that one. We did get up 3-0 at that point. I do think we lost a little bit of concentration, especially Kynan in the back. Maybe a little bit of sloppy pass. From where I was sitting originally, it kind of looked like the I think it was.
It looked.
Yeah, it got picked in the midfield, but
it looked like they weren't really communicating. It looked like Deckel expected him to do something that he didn't do. And, I think we went up, our guys were confident, and they just got complacent and stopped communicating with each other.
Definitely.
And after that one goal, obviously, they communicated much better.
Yeah.
But
watching it back, you can clearly see it's kind of a lackadaisy pass over to, I believe it was like I said. I'm getting that wrong, sorry. It was it's that little bit of turning off when you get 3-0 up and letting the other team get that little bit of hope back. And, luckily OKC wasn't able to do anything with it. The half ended on a high note. Warner got himself a goal. Maybe it's a little bit of luck. Maybe it's a little bit of skill. Who knows? It dinks off the defender definitely and goes over the keeper.
And I think, honestly, that would have been a goal if the defender hadn't been there. It was a beautiful rocket. I mean, it was going hard, but I love the little spin the defender put on it. It just made it look like a skill shot almost.
It did.
But it was a nice goal regardless of whether or not it hit a defender. And you know
who helped create that goal? Iwasa.
Oh yeah, that was his assist, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was his assist. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that ended the half on a high note for everybody. Going up 4-1 into the half, I think everyone was in a great mood in the stand.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see it being a better half in a long time, like I said.
No.
Terrific. Iwasa, all the credit to him. He really made it, and a lot of those goals were just created by him. I mean, credit to the assists, but it's him being in the right place, him playing that a little bit higher that creates those goals. He really worked himself into that 10 role, playing a little bit behind Bonomo, trying to be a little more creative. I think he got himself in great positions, and he also helped bring other people in really good positions.
And I also want to comment a little bit on the playing style. We did something we don't normally do, which is let them have the ball.
Yeah.
They did us in possession.
We've done that a bit this season.
Yeah, and we might see that as a new strategy, save our energy, and then just kill them on the counterattack.
Yeah.
I would be okay to see that if that is...
That is something we've seen over the first few games. That's a good point, is that we have seen the other team have, not the lion's share, but majority of possession. Usually it's about 60-40 or so. And so that is maybe a strategy we're doing, conserving some of the energy.
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Let's go on to the second half. Like I said, the first half had most of the action. The second half saw both teams maybe become a little stagnant, kind of just playing for the game to be done on both ends.
Well, and I think that we tried to, both teams still had opportunities.
Yeah, then
they credit to OKC, they had a couple opportunities. Their striker, he looked really dangerous. He just couldn't get it in the goal. It was always just a hair wide.
They kept trying to play long balls to him, and it wasn't really working out. He had a few good chances, though, and a few opportunities, but Cohen was on it.
And I think we did, too. But I also think we were kind of still just letting them have that possession, letting them play and pass. And, we did go on a couple attacks. And I do think at some point, which I won't spend too much time dwelling on this, I think that there were some questionable calls that potentially made the game made our players a little hesitant to play the way that they should be. But I won't dwell on that.
Welcome to the USL, right? We did have some of the subs come on. The early sub was Sari coming off for Villarreal. Maybe it's just to rest Sari's legs a little bit. Like you said, maybe get Villarreal into some minutes, get him tested on the field. He is going to be our backup in that position. He did get played a lot from Elliott last year, so maybe he's someone that he wants to get back into the starting lineup. I'm not sure. But I was kind of hesitant to see Sari go off that early.
I was really surprised because when he went off, I was thinking, did he make any big mistakes? No, that wasn't Sari who made the mistake that led to the goal.
No, it wasn't.
I mean, maybe there were up to that point there were a couple bad turnovers, and if you looked on the sidelines, Elliott was pretty angry. Maybe it had something to do with that, but I think that's just speculation, and I honestly think it's probably just to give Villarreal some more minutes, especially as he's recovering from injury. He's a good player and he needs time on the pitch.
Yeah, and we hope he didn't pick up any knocks or anything like that. Would be the worst case scenario. So we're hoping that's not the case. We're hoping it's just to give Villarreal some minutes. Bijev did come back on in about the 74th minute. Got a few minutes to run out there. Had a decent shot on goal later on in the half. Looked lively. We'll see him probably sub off the bench, maybe another game or so, working back into full health.
I think he starts next match.
You do?
I think he starts next match.
I think he might come off the bench again. He might get back in a couple matches down the road, but I think against Austin, maybe he gets back in it. Seattle, maybe not. We'll see, though. He definitely is a starter. If he's healthy to play, the coach is going to put him on.
Definitely.
So definitely. The final change, which is a great change for me, was seeing Blackwood come on for Bonomo as that striking position. Mm-hmm. We did see him play that at Swope Park a little bit last season, and he was pretty successful there. Got a few goals, so that was kind of an exciting thing. I don't think he did too much.
No, he didn't have really an opportunity. He came on so late in the game. If we're gonna use him as a sub, I'd like to see him ideally subbed in earlier. Allow him to build up his game a little bit, get his confidence, and I think we'll see the results. Or even have him as a starter and then subbed off early.
Yeah.
I have a lot of faith in Blackwood. I think he's a good player, and I think he can do a lot for us. But we need to give him the minutes, and he only got like what 6, 7, 8 minutes in the game, and that especially in a game where you don't have a lot of possession, that's not enough to do anything.
Yeah, he came around to like the 85th minute, and I think they played out like 3 minutes, 4 minutes of stoppage. So yeah, probably around 9 minutes or so. So yeah, I think the game was really told in the first half. I don't think there was much in the second half. Like I said, the game was won in the first half.
It was.
The Republic moved to a 2-0-1, sitting on 7 points. That does drop OKC down to 5th on 2-1-0 on 6 points. They were sitting top of the table again, so the fans will be a little disappointed over there for that. But they did have good spells of possession.
Yeah.
Like you said, Brown did get on the ball a couple times, did put the ball on net a couple times. Cohen was forced into saves. So I don't think this is a negative for OKC. It was maybe a thrashing more than they would want at this point in the game. But I think they bounced back from this.
And
I don't think they affected it.
With the way they played in the game, with the quality that they did show, and with their past results, I think they're going to be a contender.
Yeah.
I definitely think OKC is going to be in the playoffs. And I think that they're going to be, maybe fighting for third, fourth spot. But today was just. I think there's a lot of. I'm not confident on this, but they're a team that's building. Especially we've got Warren Smith over there, and they're going to.
Who was out at the tailgate? What's up, Warren? Good seeing you out there.
We are gonna, there are gonna be those stumbles, especially when you're rebuilding, reinventing yourself. So. Credit to them. I think they did play a good game. I think we just showed a lot better quality, a lot better finishing, and we took opportunity of our chances, and they didn't.
Absolutely. They go on to play, I believe, Reno next.
And I hope beat Reno, please. Okay.
Yeah. So
beat Reno.
I hope they recover quickly from this, get over this, move on, and get a good result against Reno. For us, I think we had great high press. I think that was one of the most impressive keys to this match for me. Is from the start, the guys were pressing high. They weren't letting OKC out of their own half. Sari was, getting up higher on the field. Iwasa was getting up higher on the field. We were starting that press much higher and much more effectively in their half, which was great.
It was, and we not only that, we had a lot of really good passing.
Yeah.
Our passing created so many opportunities. I talked about Harris's pass, but. There were also passes to other people inside the box that, unfortunately didn't end up in goals. But there was a lot of, stuff that I was getting ready to cheer. And they did a really good job. They look like a team that's really understands the system that Elliott wants and really understands what each other are going to do. And it'll be interesting to see... just as a note, with our new left back will how he'll play into the system.
Yeah, because he didn't even get on the bench, I don't believe, today. So I think Tainter's doing a good job being in that back on that wing. Gomez is one of our better defenders, has been. So I don't know. It'll be hard to get in, but we'll see what he ends up doing. Let's move on to the man of the match, round this video out. Of course, it's got to be Iwasa, right? I mean...
You can't... 3 goals and assists, you can't have it not be Iwasa.
All right, so if you don't pick Iwasa, that's great. But
you're wrong.
We'll just go with some noticeable mentions. Personally, I think Warner, Sari, and Horde for me are the guys that I really want to mention. Warner, he's been terrific. Mm-hmm. He got the goal. That's great for him. That's going to build his confidence. It's going to ingrain him on the fans a little bit more. He's been such a great performer since we got it. To not mention his name in this conversation, it would be a shame. Horde, I didn't expect him on the lineup, but geez, he's
good.
He's what we want
really
in that
good.
Position. He's got the ability to put the crosses in, and with Bonomo and Iwasa up top, those guys can make something happen if you get that ball in the box. So I like that. Sorry, he does that work that Hall did last season, that dirty work, that not so beautiful. People don't necessarily pay as much attention to it, but I think he's been protecting that back line and giving us that confidence.
Yeah.
Terrific from him. I hated to see him go off early. Yeah,
I was surprised by that as well. And the only thing I would really add to that is Harris. Again, I think he had a great game. He's key for us. He's had he scored the equalizer against the Monarchs, and he provided an assist for us last game.
He got an assist this game too, didn't he? I believe he did get an assist this game. Or no?
No, he didn't get the assist. He got it to Bonomo, who got fouled.
Okay, yes.
That's why I did.
You're right.
Assist.
So it probably wasn't technically an assist.
Yeah, I count it as an assist.
I will
but
too.
He's showing.
Good job, Harris.
He's showing he's good all across. He's good in the back, but he also has the ability. He ran up almost the entire field.
Yeah. He saw that space and made something of it.
Exactly, and that's really vital. Granted, he's a defender, but I'm not going to get mad when a defender does something like that.
Well,
it was what we needed.
And I mean, except for Kainen's mistake, Kainen, I keep saying his name wrong, I'm sure. Except for his little mistake there in the back and leading to that goal, they were pretty much flawless the whole game.
Exactly.
I mean, they controlled the box the whole game. So,
and there was just to bring this out in the air, there was a minute of maybe 5-10 minutes at the start of the second half. Not passing good at all. Kept giving away balls. We're not paying attention, and I don't like to see that.
yeah, that's that 4-1 complacency.
Exactly, and that's what lost us a game against Reno last year.
Yeah, they turned that around quick on us. We all remember that.
Yeah, so I hope we don't see more of that. Thankfully, it was only a very short amount of time, and OKC wasn't able to capitalize on it. But, aside from that, I can't think of too many negatives to take from this game. It was nothing but positive, and I'm still excited about the game.
Yeah, it was a terrific game. We'll be buzzing until next week. This video is running a bit long, so we're going to go ahead and cut it here. Thanks for watching these videos. We appreciate it. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. We are on Twitter. You probably heard it 1,000 times. The definition or the description's down there. Check it out. Jonathan Glass joined us today. Kasey J here. Again, as always, we appreciate it. Until next time, peace.
Cheers.